What if you could 10x your marriage? Yes, your marriage. And what does that even mean? Well, in this video, I'm going to not only tell you what a 10x marriage looks like, I'm going to tell you how to have a 10x marriage and why you must have a 10x marriage. How do I know this? Well, because this is what Kimberly and I do and what we've been experiencing after being married for 35 years and studying this stuff for the last 20. Okay, what do we mean by 10x? Well, and how does it apply to your marriage? Well, 10x is simply getting 10 times the results that you're currently getting. It's a term or a catchphrase that's most commonly used in business and sales, like, how do I 10x my sales? How do I 10x my profit? How do I 10x the number of customers that I have? How do I 10x the subscribers on my YouTube channel, right? How do I 10x the influence that I have over people? I think you get the point. But how many people think to 10x the quality of their marriage? Seems like a far-flung idea, right? Now, hang with me for the next few minutes because I don't want you to miss the enormous gift that I'm about to give with you. Will you do that? Okay. Your marriage is the greatest opportunity that you have to realize your God-given potential. It's the only way to release the inner godlikeness that humankind has been pursuing since the fall of Adam and Eve. We know that marriage feels like the most perfect conundrum ever conceived. God must be laughing his head off, watching us flounder around and botching it up. But you've also got to realize that marriage, it's been ordained by God and adopted by most civilizations in all of history. It can't be a mistake, right? It can't be the conundrum that we think it is. There's got to be divine design behind it. And it's not until we realize this and accept it and all the challenges that it has, right, that we can realize its potential. It's supposed to be this way. It's actually the perfect environment for us to develop into our birthright. And we believe that there's no more divinely designed nor paradoxically perfect environment than marriage for the perfection of a human being. Men and women are so different. We're like cats and dogs, hot and cold, night and day. We're like vinegar and oil, right? But you can see that we can't have one without the other. But when you emulsify the two with love, like God's trying to teach us in our relationship, you've got sparks, you've got magic, you've got nuclear explosions, you've got creation. Now, it's our belief that a man and a woman combined with love and honor and commitment as God intended will exemplify to the world the character and the beauty and the majesty of God. That is, if we do it right and we take full advantage of the opportunity that God gave us. Now, what this means is two things. First, you've got to adopt a new, more empowering paradigm for your marriage, where you realize that it's so much more than just an arrangement where you meet each other's needs. It has a divine purpose that's been hidden and covered up by the establishment for the last couple of thousand years. Now, the second thing is you've got to realize that you've got to start thinking bigger and way grander about your marriage. You've got to raise your expectations. You've got to create a vision for your marriage that gets you out of your seat, gets you excited, gets you motivated, gets you inspired. Why? Because small goals don't get you anywhere. They don't motivate you. Small goals have no power. If you say, I want my marriage to be a little better, like maybe 10% better, it's not going to happen. Because when you make your goals too small, you try to achieve them without making the necessary changes required to achieve them. You try to get new results without becoming a new person. It's the age-old principle that what got you where you are isn't going to get you where you want to go. Leo DiCaprio once said that every next level of your life will require a different you. Now, this means that if you want more love and you want more intimacy, you want more fun in your life, you want more sex, you want more fulfillment, that the person that has that is a very different person than the person that maybe you've been bringing to the table. That's why often to get more of what God divinely purposed for you, you've got to set your sights higher. So high, in fact, that it becomes self-evident what you've got in your life that's holding you back. What in your life that's making this impossible. If you know the Pareto principle, it's the old 80-20 rule. And it means that 20% of what you do gives you 80% of your results. But the inverse of that is that 80% of what you do is holding you back from getting the results that you want. It means that the majority of your thinking and your habits and your behaviors are working against you. It means that you've got to get crystal clear on what you want in your life and in your marriage, right? And it's not until then that you'll realize what the 80% is that's holding you back. Having a better marriage is more about identifying what you need to stop doing than what you need to start doing. Now, in the context of marriage, it means that you've got to focus on way, way less, because 10X is about quality, not quantity. 10X is about stripping away everything that isn't the picture of a dream marriage. It's eliminating all the memories and the beliefs and the habits and the responses that are incongruent with the marriage that you want. It's deciding to think like and behave like and to live like the person who has the dream relationship that you want. Setting small goals is pointless because they don't motivate you to change. Only 10X level goals inspire us because that's the only way that we will abandon the level of thinking that has given us what we have. In other words, if your goal isn't big enough, you keep trying to get more by being the same person. You're trying to drag your old identity and your old life along with you into the future, and it doesn't work like that. Whereas with 10X thinking, you let go of everything that's inconsistent and incongruent with the future that you want. You let go of that 80% that's holding you back from getting what you want. But here's the thing. Your barriers to having the marriage you want and the life that you want, they're mainly psychological. They're not real. They're all in your head. And if your goals and your dreams for your marriage are too small, you will manufacture an endless amount of excuses and rationalizations for not reaching them. If your goals and your dreams and your expectations are 10X, they're really huge, all the conventional excuses and roadblocks to your success, they go away. It's like when you have a major deadline, you have a major emergency or a crisis in your life. Everything that limited you up to that point, it just suddenly disappears. And you don't have the time or the bandwidth to make excuses. With 10X thinking, the things in your life that are preventing you from reaching your goals, they become crystal clear. The people that you may need to eliminate from your life, the behaviors that you need to eliminate, the habits that you need to change, the unhealthy relationships, the friendships, the family ties, the false allegiances, the hobbies, the habits, and the routines that are subconscious and automatic that don't support your relationship. If you want 10X results in your marriage, it means you've got to focus on a lot less. It means focusing on the 20% that'll give you the 80% that you want. But how do you know what that 20% is? Well, number one, you've got to get really, really clear and really specific on what it is that you want. And if you don't know exactly what that is, how are you going to get it, right? And number two, you've got to have a goal that's big enough to really be super motivating and inspiring. Because when a goal is big enough, the path becomes more clear and the solutions to clearing your obstacles become more clear. When your goal is big enough, it's easier to see through your own personal bullshit that's holding you back. Because 10X isn't about rearranging the furniture in your house. It's often about reinventing your relationship. Okay, I can't go on without giving a shout out to Dr. Benjamin Hardy and his book, 10X is Easier Than 2X. Because the principles in this video of achieving 10X result are largely from him, and I really, really appreciate his contribution in this field. That said, after reading his book, I had to ask myself, how does this apply to marriage? It doesn't even apply to marriage. Well, it only took me like half a second to answer it with a resounding yes, but not in the way that you think. Do you know why 10X is easier than 2X? It's the same reason why it's easier to make $1 million than it is to make 200,000. It's because when your goals are too small, you can come up with 1,000,000 reasons not to achieve them. When your goals are too small, you're not willing to go all in and fully commit to achieving your vision. If you're not willing to burn the boats so that there's no turning back, you'll allow your environment to dictate how you spend your time and where you put your energy. Maybe you decide to spend the day with your wife and your kids, but then your buddy calls and tells you he's got a ticket to a ball game with your name on it. Well, what are you going to do? Well, when you're fully committed to your wife and kids, you don't even take the friggin' phone call, right? The reason you've got to go 10x instead of 2x with your marriage is because if you don't, you'll never be fully committed to turning it around and making it great. And your kids are going to watch you, and they're going to learn from you by default how to do it and what their expectations are going forward in their marriages. So the reason that you've got to go 10x is because without a super compelling, super inspiring, and super motivating vision, you'll never experience the potential that your marriage has. Or worse, you'll lose the marriage you've got because you've chosen to put your attention and your energy into things that don't matter and don't serve you. Now, the reason you've got to go 10x is because only then will it become apparent, if not crystal clear, what in your life needs to change, what in your life needs to be eliminated. Remember, success in marriage and in life is often more about what you stop doing. It's about getting out of your own way. It's about eliminating the 80% that's getting in the way so that what you really, really want, right, will come to you. It's putting your focus and your attention into the creation of what you want and not into maintenance and survival. When your vision for your marriage and your life is grand, it becomes a filter for everything you do. It becomes the filter for your thinking, the filter for your habits, the filter for your rituals, the filter for how you interact with your mate. It becomes the filter for how you prioritize your time, how you spend your money, how you take care of yourself. And when you visualize yourself living this life, enjoying the experiences and feeling the reward, the deep meaning, the intense sense of fulfillment, you have to realize that it's a different you that's having this experience. It's an upgraded, evolved, supercharged version of yourself who simply lives by a higher set of standards, operates with new paradigms, has different habits, and just thinks differently. You've experienced a metamorphosis. You've shed your old skin and you've entered in the phone booth as Clark Kent and you've come out as Superman. 10X is about writing your own story and then thinking, feeling, and acting congruent with the lead character, which is you. And in the process, it'll become self-evident what you've been doing to sabotage your own life and marriage. It'll become self-evident what the 80% is that's keeping you from the marriage and the life you want. What thinking patterns do you have that thwart your ability to have a loving, connected, and passionate marriage? What relationships do you have with friends, relatives, and even parents that dilute the intention and energy that you put into your marriage? Are there financial obligations that you have that put a strain on your relationship that are optional obligations that could be eliminated? Are you choosing hobbies that don't involve your mate over activities that you could do together? Are you choosing career over family? Now, I could go on and on with examples, but I think you get the point. When you set your sights really, really high, it becomes crystal clear what needs to be eliminated and what needs to be done. And this needs to be done with urgency. You know why? Because if you don't treat it like a national emergency level crisis, you're going to sit on your ass and you're going to procrastinate and you're going to make excuses for not doing it. So what are you going to do? Well, my suggestion is that you create the grandest vision for your marriage that you can, and you do it in excruciating detail. What does a marriage like that look like? How much fun are you having? Imagine the romance, the juiciness. How sexually fulfilling is it? What does a marriage look like that makes you want to go all in on it and start treating your mate like a king or a queen? What does a marriage look like that your kids and your grandkids want to emulate? What would your marriage look like if your kids and your grandkids are like, I want to have that? Let that be your filter. Let that define your standards. Let that be your story. The story that you begin writing today. And it begins by choosing to be the person who has what you want and living in congruence with that personality. And how do you know what to stop doing? How do you know what to eliminate? Everything that isn't that vision. And step into the shoes and start acting like the best version of yourself that has the marriage and the life you want. That's it. Thanks for being here. And if you want to hear more from Kimberly and I, please subscribe to our channel, give this video a thumbs up, and share it with a friend. And start 10xing your marriage today, because when your marriage is great, life is great. We'll see you soon.